New data shows marijuana is an increasing factor in deadly crashes. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Nadine Woodward. The number of drivers who tested positive for marijuana and involved in deadly crashes in Washington increased nearly 50% from 2013 to 2014. And KXLY4's Grace Ditzler working for you. So, Grace, what are researchers saying else about this new data?
Nadine, the Washington Traffic Safety Commission says marijuana involvement in fatal crashes remained steady over the years and then spiked in 2014. Legalized marijuana. It's uncharted territory in Washington. Now the Washington Traffic Safety Commission says it is closer to answering questions about the impact of legalized marijuana on driving. Drivers under the influence is something Washington State Patrol deals with on a regular basis.
That's a concern for us, and we have troopers that are completely dedicated to preventing impaired driving, injuries, and deaths on our roadways.
WTSC says from 2010 to 2014, nearly 60% of drivers involved in fatal collisions were tested for drugs, and among those, about 20% tested positive for marijuana. But just testing positive for marijuana doesn't necessarily mean a driver was high at the time of the crash, because marijuana can stay in a person's blood for days after they use it. This new data distinguishes between drivers impaired on THC and those who have residual marijuana in their systems, but are not high at the time of the crash. The number of drivers testing positive for active THC has steadily increased, from less than half of marijuana positive drivers in 2010, 65% in 2013, and 85% of drivers testing positive for THC in 2014. Washington State Patrol says law enforcement will continue their efforts to get impaired drivers off the roads.
Certainly, we've been arresting people for being impaired on marijuana long before the new statutes were in place, and we'll continue to do that as long as folks choose to smoke marijuana and drive.
And that Target Zero task force normally works Wednesday through Saturday evenings when they say impaired driving happens the most. WTSC says from 2008 to 2014, more than 1,100 people died in impaired collisions in Washington. Reporting in studio, Grace Ditzler, KXLY4 News.